I took drama class in high school, but there were no roles for me except for maids and servants.
I am proud
I was an American after all, a cheerleader and a majorette.
that I
My
walk
acting coach told me to get an Oriental name that sounded like I looked.
with my hips kind of swivelly and swirly.
I'm a girl, and by me that's only great.
I actually came to Hollywood to act. I was smart enough to know that I couldn't be a star because I had been counseled by people that Asians, at that time we were called Orientals, never became stars, or if they did, they'd have a short life as a star. And my dad and mom were waving goodbye and they said, well, if it doesn't work out, you can always come home. And I never went home. I went to the Burbank Library, looked under Japan in the card file, selected the names of two authors, Sumi and Haru. I chose Japanese because most of the roles being cast were Japanese.
あれいい男前だわ。私好きだわ。大きいものともそれまで行きますね。
Iron Lotus is a name given to me by a boyfriend who was always amused when the hard side of me came out. Actually, there were very few incidents when I was a child that I knew that I was oppressed or our family was oppressed. I did recall a couple of incidents. Oh no, Tommy. Your mom won't let you take me to the prom? Why won't she let you? Because I'm Oriental? I don't understand. But I already bought my formal.
Why must I be a teenager in love?
Newsweek magazine referred to Japanese Americans who were interned in concentration camps when they got out as people who tried to out-white the whites. Although we were Filipinos and didn't go to camp, we tried to do the same thing. We tried to be as good as or better than Americans born in the US. My parents did a pretty good job about whiting the whites. It's really hard to make a living as an actor if you're a person of color like I am and 4'10". Between the years that I was between 30 and 40, I worked. As a matter of fact, I had insurance not only from AFTRA, Screen Actors Guild, and also at KTLA, the station where I worked, where I was a public affairs host.
Yes. And? No. It was a start.
When I was in Spain, newspapers carried pictures of Robert Mitchum with me in tow as we went to a premiere. He was really tall, and I looked like a little girl in a miniskirt as I reached up to hold his hand. I got involved with the Screen Actors Guild actually through equity. We had done some picketing around the music center. Kenneth Nelson was quoted in the LA Times saying, "I shall be pleased to be playing a straight, slant-eyed Oriental." The musical version of Tea House of the August Moon was coming to the Los Angeles Music Center with a white actor in the lead, Kenneth Nelson, as Sakini. No Asian was auditioned for the role. Yeah, I bet there were over 200 of us. No, I'm not ashamed. How else can you let people know there's discrimination in the theater? And then from there, I just started getting elected to offices. First vice president, recording secretary. At one time, I was even acting president.
Take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get...
Yes.
How much do you think your activism affected your acting career? Or was it just that you chose not to take certain kinds of roles?
I was told that they didn't want this rabble-rouser on their sets. When I was the acting president of Screen Actors Guild, we had a security problem. A member was caught with a loaded pistol at a membership meeting. We had extra security guards and undercover police at the meeting. I remember thinking, a bullet could pierce right through this wooden podium I'm standing behind. The Asian Pacific American Labor Alliance had been lobbying the AFL-CIO to place an Asian Pacific American on its executive council. At the time, I happened to be the highest-ranking elected Asian Pacific American in the labor movement. There's so little written about Filipino Americans, and I'm hoping that my story might tell a little bit about the lives of Asian Pacific Islanders and specifically Filipinos And I think I've had an unusual kind of life, so it might give hope to young Filipinos that even though they're people of color and they may be feeling oppressed, that one can get ahead.